Hey there, so today we have another review, and before I even start, I'm placing the mic somewhere else today, just trying it out. You guys post in the comments below about how you like it. So anyway, this is Hop Stupid from Lagunitas. This is an OG classic West Coast style double IPA. The recipe has been around for 10 years now, which is absolutely crazy. Interesting things about this beer: A, it's a double IPA, 8%. It is brewed with Cascade Centennial and Simcoe. It also, from what I understand, has some of the crystal malts pulled out of it, so that it really doesn't really offer as much sweetness as something like their Maximus double IPA. But I still perceive that there's probably some amount of crystal malt or something that's giving this kind of a medium golden color to it. It's not full on pale ale malt or Pilsner malt or something like that. What else about that beer? Let's dig in. Yeah. So also, it is they use hop extract in here, so that is concentrated alpha acids. That's a good way to offer bitterness into a beer without using the green matter from the pelletized hops. I still imagine there's still dry hopping it with pelletized hops. So let's dig into it. So the beer comes in a medium gold color, beautiful clarity on there, fluffy white head that's sort of suspending in there. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, that's familiar. It has that kind of caramelly biscuit quality that I just generally perceive in West Coast style IPAs. It has just familiar sweetness to it. It also has some hoppiness to it, but not quite distinct. It doesn't really burst out on the nose for me. It has maybe a little bit of just classic West Coast quality, so maybe a little bit of pine, a little bit of grapefruit. But it's really the malts that sort of sing. It's like hoppy, sweet malt water. Cheers. Wow, nice. Ooh, that's good. So, classic flavors up front. So it bursts up front with sweetness. So I don't mean sweetness in the sense that this is like a big malt bomb or just that it's cloyingly sweet, but it does what West Coast double IPA does well. It bursts up front with this kind of it's sugary sweet. It's as if you could concentrate grapefruit zest and grapefruit peel into this concentrated sweet syrup, and it has a candied syrupy kind of sweetness to it, and that's where the malts sort of sing. But then it doesn't cloy. It doesn't push too far into sweet caramel and too much biscuit, but there is a little bit of like bread and kind of light biscuit quality. Mostly sweetness and breadiness, and then a little hint of biscuit in there. Moving on, there's some resonating grapefruit bitterness and grapefruit fruit as well in general. And then on the back end, you get a little bit of that piney bitterness going on to the back end, lingering, but then the malt tries to fight a little bit and tries to take it back. Yeah, it has a decent bitterness to it. I like it. It's well executed. This is sort of reminds me of the Stone Antimatter double IPA that I recently reviewed. It has the balance of that sweet malt up front, but then the bitterness counteracting it. I like where the sweet malt sort of hits on the middle and sort of resonates. It's beautifully clean. It's wonderfully dry. Also, from what I understand, they're also dropping the mash temperature on this one. So ideally, this beer should turn out a little bit more dry. Whereas, from what I understand, Lagunitas IPA is mashed at super high temperatures, which actually activates, alpha amylase. I'm so bad at this. I think alpha amylase enzymes, which ends up leaving more long chain sugars, and actually Lagunitas IPA ends up at a higher final gravity, which means it should perceive as a pretty sweet beer, but somehow they've coaxed that beer into a way that it actually perceives as an IPA without being cloyingly sweet. But if you do have an old bottle of Lagunitas IPA, that beer is freaking gross. It is so sweet. So I think they've like sort of adjusted that on this beer. Yeah, and they've done a pretty good job. It has a decent dryness to it. There's some bitterness on here. The malt doesn't cloy too much. I just really wish it sang a little bit more on the aromatics and sort of had a little bit more driving hop flavor up front. But that's where the best West Coast double IPA stand. This for me right now sitting at a 87. Still well done beer. Very good beer. This is Lagunitas Hop Stupid. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Later.